Yes, that is a new intro. This is the Everton match preview. I'm here with Rich. How you doing?
I'm good. Mute buttons on the ready. Background noise speak. But we're good.
You're not the only one today. Nate, how you doing?
I'm good, bro, but phone's acting like nipping, so I'm a little bit pissed at my phone right now, but it is what it is.
Sweet. We've got a Everton fan here in Christian. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
And the other mute merchant today, man like Matty Boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have my finger hot on that mic button, the mute button. So yeah, thanks for having us again, guys. I think this is my hat-trick appearance on the show, and big fan of Christian's as well. Sorry, so delighted to finally meet him as well. So yeah, let's get stuck into this and get this bleeding season over with.
Well, just to bring a bit of context to Christian, obviously, he is one half of the duo, the Cooligans. So we previously had Alexis Guerreros in for the Arsenal preview with him and Tariq, and he's the other half. So we're so honored to have him in.
Let's go. Yeah,
not in the circumstances we would have wanted, because we were hoping this was going to be the game which might have relegated Frank Lampard. Not Everton, I like Everton, but Frank Lampard. But circumstances have changed.
It's working. Look, this is destiny called for this game to matter more than it probably should have. Who was the referee in the last match? Michael Oliver. Michael Oliver took it upon himself to say, you know what, let's keep this a little bit, let's keep it going a little longer, because ratings, relegation battle, in the United States, we don't have relegation. So this is what we need to get people excited about the Premier League and whet their appetite for the next season.
100%.
Yeah, you're safe though, aren't you?
Yeah, I think that if you didn't get points off United and I think Chelsea as well, then we'll be talking completely differently about the end of the season for you guys. But I think after those points you picked up, I think that's kept you up really.
It definitely made things a lot, feel a little bit better. But how wild is it that we beat those teams, but we've lost to every team that's currently in the relegation zone? Well, not Leeds, I think. I don't know if we lost to Leeds, but it's remarkable. The season makes no sense week in and week out. You don't know whether there's going to be, Michael Keane making some ridiculous error or Michael Oliver making some ridiculous error to affect the results of matches. So it's generally pretty frustrating.
Big up Astro.
I'm not going to lie, Astro. Your passion for your club, yeah?
Hey, just 1 second. Let me grab my earphones real quick. I just ran into the door for work, and I'm running behind.
I love Astro.
Well, we'll go on to Matt as well, already on the subject of relegation zone. Matt, how are you feeling about it?
I never thought that I'd be like the calmest Everton fan on the channel here. We have Christian here and then Astro running around like an absolute lunatic in the background as well. So listen, like you say, you mentioned already, Jordan, that how we picked up 3 points against the likes of Chelsea and Manchester United, and we're in a position now where it's in our hands. Where before the Chelsea game and before the Man United game, it probably wasn't in our hands. We're kind of hoping for other teams to slip up. And to be honest with you, I'm supporting Everton 26, 27 years, and I've only been in that position kind of a few times where we're hoping for other teams to lose games, and it's not a great position to be in. I'm sure as Crystal Palace fans, you guys have probably experienced it before as well. And like I said, off air there, I want Everton to win tomorrow, just like obviously because we'll be safe, but just because it means the season is over and we can just relax then. I don't even want to watch the match on Sunday. I said it to you guys already. I just hope we get the job done tomorrow, and then we can just forget completely that this season ever happened at all, and we can forget about Rafa Benitez as well, because that's just a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Unpopular opinion, he would have kept you up. Definitely.
No man, come on now.
No, Agent Rafa tax. You know that wouldn't have happened, bro.
Well, yeah, I think Dan's got a good point here. No one can be officially relegated tomorrow we all have to wait until that final day.
But Everton can be safe tomorrow.
Right.
That's it is.
It's a shame because I'd love Leeds to get relegated tomorrow. That would just be the ice. That would be the cherry on the cake. But hopefully on Sunday, that's what happens. Sorry, Leeds fans, but personal reasons, you lot deserve some smoke. So that's all it is. But for Everton, listen, I don't want you lot down. But Lampard, on the other hand, yeah, I'd be happy to see him relegated. Your football club, no way in hell. Everton's a great away day, great fans. You're not insufferable like the other lot across Stanley Park. You're all right, but your manager, Prick. And that's me being polite, by the way.
You see, I'm so I'm an NYCFC fan. That's my MLS team. And Patrick Vieira and Frank Lampard were both a part of the team. Obviously, Lampard played for the team, and Patrick Vieira was the manager. And then Jesse Marsh is the manager at Leeds, and they also have a player in Jack Harrison who is a friend. He's done our show. So that, for my personal reasons, are Burnley. I want Burnley gone. I don't have a history with Leeds. I've heard negative things. The Amazon reviews are not great. But for Jesse Marsh and for Jack Harrison, I would like them to stay up and Burnley to go down.
I think Burnley are going down. I don't see them getting a point. I don't see them getting
I don't see Leeds getting a point either, if I'm really honest.
That's true, but because Burnley are behind and they're not going to get any more points, they're going down.
I don't know, but it'll be very Burnley to win on the last day of the season to keep them up. I mean, that's...
Who have they got last game?
Away to Newcastle.
Yeah.
So bear in mind, Leeds play Watford. Watford have nothing to lose for. Nothing to play for, rather.
Well.
Leeds are playing Brentford, and Brentford absolutely hate Leeds. So I'm hoping Brentford relegate Leeds, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine Chris Wood sending Burnley down?
I don't know. Michael Oliver tried to send us down last Sunday. So, I mean, there seems to be a lot of that going on.
Let's say a few comments. Big up Louis. He has actually got an Instagram account dedicated to Michael Olise, so make sure you follow that. Big up Orest. I'm actually going to be on his channel at 9 o'clock doing a United preview. That should be fun. Matt, make sure you're there trolling him in the comments.
How come I've never been invited onto his channel, man? I'm still waiting.
I just want to welcome Astro. Astro, I'm a huge fan. I obviously watch you on Toffee TV all the time. You do great work. You lift my spirits. You bring them down sometimes, but you are an important toffee in my life. So thank you for all you do.
And likewise, man, the documentary that you guys did about your trip over, and for the Arsenal match, and the interview that you did on Toffee TV, one of the things that I love, right, about football is this kind of setting right here, right? Because my father-in-law is a Man United season ticket holder, and he took me to an FA Cup match, and obviously I got a strike one against me because I'm a Yank. Second of all, I'm an Evertonian. Okay, but as I'm having 8 pints pre-match before the Reading United Reading match, they realized I knew my football, right, and that I was passionate about my club, and there was respect there, and that's the thing that I've really enjoyed in these interactions. And in getting to interact with the majority of people on social media, there's some bad eggs in the crowd, but for the most part, it's just really awesome people passionate about the team that they love, and they're game to have a great conversation about it. And that's what's been the best part of this entire thing.
It's great. Yeah, people love Astro. Even Evertonians. You look at the comments. When I did Toffee TV, I'm like, man, I'm gonna get flamed. These Brits, they're not gonna like me because I have even an ounce of optimism, and it's the complete opposite. Everybody's like, whoa, these Yanks, they're so different than we are.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt when you present yourself well, and you knew what you were talking about. And like I said, that sit down on the couch at Toffee TV was awesome to watch, and I love hearing about how each club has pulled you in. You know what I mean? Everybody's, how Palace became a part of your life. Like I love those stories, because in that stories is like where the pure enjoyment of the sport of football is, and why it is truly like the world's game. And I love the idea of that.
Thanks.
Absolutely. You know, that's actually a lovely segue, because obviously, being from America, the question is, why Everton? So, Christian, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Astro.
Yeah,
Matt, we don't need to hear any more from you.
Very simple.
You just stay on mute. It's all right.
Simple. Tim Howard. Tim Howard is my connection to the team. I was a U.S. men's national team fan, like a lot of other Americans. And then when it came time to like pick a club, I was like, well, I have no emotional connection to the badge of any of these clubs. I don't know who to pick. I know the players, but I don't know why would I pick any team over another. And it just made sense. I was already a huge fan of Tim Howard. I'm like, all right, this seems like an easy decision, and I'm glad I did it, because even looking at the frustration with these results and the season that we're currently in, just like Astro mentioned, like when getting to go to Goodison for the first time, and we got to film something and meet a lot of the people around the club, but more than that, just spending time with the other Evertonians in Liverpool, I can't even express how kind everyone was. And just my presumption was that people were going to be judgmental, given that I was American and a fan of football. But it was the complete opposite. They're like, you like our club, like you're one of us. And it was a complete just lovely experience with everyone. Even people could talk about the negativity of Evertonians and all this other stuff, but when it comes to looking out for each other and looking out for other Toffees, that's 100% there.
Yeah, I can echo that sentiment entirely. I have an Everton connection that goes all the way back to 95. I didn't even know it. 96. Daniel Amokachi played for Nigeria. The first proper football match I ever witnessed was Nigeria versus Brazil, 96 Olympics, Athens, Georgia. Okay. And I saw Amo play. I was in the Super Eagles section. I had a green shirt on just out of like random luck that day. And when they beat Brazil, everybody went nuts. I got to have one of the biggest parties I'd ever been a part of, just because I was sat in the Super Eagles section and I wore the right colors that day. And that was kind of my first exposure. But it was really Landon Donovan. And his first loan spell in 2010. And like my surprise, for some reason, it had never registered with me that Tim Howard played in England. And I'm like watching Landon, and there's Tim Howard in goal. And I'm like, oh yeah, these are my people, like this is my team. And that season, that 2009 or 2010, 2010 season, from that first match I watched Landon play in, all the way through, I was hooked. And luckily, my work took me to Germany the following year, and I started making the pilgrimage to Goodison. My first match to March of 2011, Louis Saha and Seamus Coleman scored. I saw Deuce Dempsey score for Fulham. It was 2-1 victory for the Blues, and that's what you were saying. What Christian was saying. Like for us, it is like they treat you like family. And you get treated so well. The club, the club were great, but like it was the people. If people figured out that you weren't local, they wanted to know where you were from. They wanted to know why you were supporting the club. And like once I said, like it's amazing. Like once they realize that your history and that you understand that Everton Football Club, one of the founding members of the Football League, Goodison Park, first purpose-built football ground in the United Kingdom. There's so many firsts there. And there's such a rich history. And once they realize that you're fully switched on and that you're invested, they know that you're one of them and your family at that point. And once Everton's touched you, it truly is, nothing is the same when it comes to sports. Like I was working in Utah for a couple of years, and a kid in a kid in a Liverpool shirt behind me says he sees me in an Everton top, and he says, boy, you chose the wrong team in town, didn't you? I turned around and looked at him. I said, let me tell you something, Jack. I said, I've been supporting Everton since you were a bubble in your daddy's ball sack. I said, so I said, so I don't want to hear you say a word. I said, by the way, how many times you been to Anfield? He said, I ain't never been to Anfield. I said, okay. I said, who's Bill Shankly? He says, I don't know. I said, who's Ian Rush? He said, I don't know. I said, well, when I know more about the team you supposedly support than you do, I said, you may want to hold your tongue.
You know, I'll just say this: if you have a bubble in your ball sack, you might want to get that looked at.
You might want to get that looked at. Yeah. I am not a medical professional, but that is bad all the way around. So
it's not supposed to be that swollen.
No. You got bigger problems than supporting Liverpool.
What a story. Matt, no pressure. Go on, you can have you go.
I absolutely hate being an Everton fan. Don't like anything about it. I'm an Everton fan because my dad's an Everton fan. That's basically why. No, I think it was a lot of when you're in Ireland. I think what a lot of people did back in the 70s and 80s. That kind of generation was whoever won the FA Cup final, that was the team they'd pick. So obviously Everton had a lot of success in the 70s and 80s in terms of that. And my dad and his brothers got the boat over to Wembley. It was Manchester United against Everton, and they all just said, right, whoever wins this game, we're going to support for the rest of our lives. And unfortunately, it was Everton that won 1-0, and that's why I'm an Everton fan. Simple as that. I actually was nearly a Manchester United fan growing up because I played football for Shelbourne, which is a team in Dublin over here, and we were amalgamated with Manchester United. So there was we were getting a lot of Manchester United training gear. We were getting a lot of tops and jumpers to wear around the house. And my dad used to say, "Get that off you now. You're an Everton fan." I had to have another Everton fan in Ireland with me, you know. So we ended up going over to with Shelbourne. We ended up traveling over to Liverpool for a weekend to play the Liverpool Academy. And Liverpool were away that weekend, and Everton were playing at home against Bradford, and they won 4-0. And Richard Dunn was playing centre half for Everton, and I was like, "Oh my God, this team is amazing! We've after beating Bradford, the mighty Bradford 4-0." So yeah, I stuck with being an Everton fan, and I've been like that now for the last 25, 26 years now. So yeah, I've more grey hair now anyway.
One of my favorite things, being in pubs in Liverpool, I would wear an Everton top, or I actually had this. I was wearing this. What do you guys call it? A trackie or whatever. And this is from Tony Asher. You may know Tony, a Chicago Evertonian.
Yeah.
I was wearing this, and I probably got approached maybe 5 or 6 times in about 3 days with people being like, "Why'd you do this to yourself?" Why? Literally, once they heard my accent, they're like, "There's no way you could have logically chosen this team because I've been in pain for nearly 3 decades." So there's a true emotion and passion that you, as an American Evertonian, you don't really get to see it day to day, but when you're there, it is quite palpable.
Listen, as a sports fan, I'm built for the struggle, okay? Because I grew up, in the shadow of the University of Georgia. They won a national championship in 1980, okay, for college football. They didn't win it again until this last year, okay? Right. Atlanta Braves. The Braves and the Falcons used to suck so bad back in the day, there were bumper stickers on the back of cars that said, "Go Braves and take the Falcons with you." My dad took me to a baseball game, and they were selling tickets they let a guy bring a keg of beer in as long as he bought a ticket for it. Okay. They called Atlanta Loserville, USA. So for me, I'm built for the struggle. Look, 28-3 Falcons and Patriots. Listen, there ain't nothing any sports team can do to crush my soul in a new and creative way, because it's happened at least once. I've seen everything. So granted, I'm probably tempting fate right now, but I don't know. It's something that's insane. It's Everton supporters, one of the things I don't think they've realized until the last month is that we are powerful beyond measure when we are united. Okay. And I used to go to a lot of football matches in Germany just because I was there. And when you would go to Dortmund and Kaiserslautern was still in the FC Ka was still in the first Bundesliga. Let me tell you something. Them Germans get bent clean out of shape at a football match. Right. And I love that. I love that fire and that energy and that emotion. I mean, you can see from me on, look at my crazy ass in my garden disturbing my neighbors. You know what I mean? Out here watching Everton reacting to Everton matches. I mean, the fire and the passion is there. And that's something that the fan base, I feel like maybe a sleeping giant has been awoken. And I just hope we stay up, because I think it can be a precursor for a real sea change, not just in the fan base, but in the community and for the club.
Just to add to what Astro was saying there as well, I think what Christian said is, why do you do this to yourself and stuff like that? We're all kind of Everton fans. we all kind of picked to be an Everton fan, choose to be an Everton fan and stuff like that. And but when you go to Goodison for the first time as an international fan, I think that's when you kind of go, right, I'm in. Do you know what I mean? It changed you. It makes an impact on you, and it leaves a mark on you. And I think that you're chosen, you know, that manufactured and stuff like that. But that's the model they have. But it really does when the first time you go in, especially if you're with your dad or something like that as well, and you can see how passionate he's been for the last 20, 30 years as well about it. It does leave its mark on you, and I think that's why a lot of people kind of stick it out once they've gone and visited Everton for the first time, you know.
Goodison is like no other place I've ever been. I call upon the music of my youth, and I refer back to a line, you know, from Public Enemy of Welcome to the Terror Dome. That is, and I've already got a name for Bramley Moore. So, you know what I mean? Like, Goodison is an incredible place, and it's like no place that I've ever witnessed a sporting event. And there's character there, there's history there, and you're just on top of it. And you're just packed in with, you know, like I said, you know, so many fired up, excited Evertonians. It's just, there's nothing like it. Matt hit the nail on the head. There is nothing like it.
I'm actually just curious, like, you know, there aren't too many grounds that people talk about the way I hear people talk about Goodison Park. Do people talk about Selhurst Park the same way, or is it just a building people go into and then just go home? What's the vibe when it comes to the lore of the team?
We got the best atmosphere in the Prem.
Okay.
I you know what? I can't even argue with that, because y'all get loud at Selhurst Park. I ain't even gonna lie, I'm jealous.
To be fair to Goodison, it has a cracking atmosphere as well.
Mm-hmm. I would say that Goodison the last like 5 or 6 weeks would give you a run for your money, but you know, you guys are passionate about Palace. Like for me, like Jermaine Easter, like when you guys were coming up out of the championship, when you were just fighting for promotion and stuff like that, I used to see that maybe that was not a good name to say. Oh God, am I an idiot or something? Anyway, regardless, right? I just remember seeing a lot of Palace players.
Is that sin binnable? Just asking.
I don't know. All I'm saying is
but it's just if there's ever a name to bring back PTSD, that's one of those names.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You know what?
No, you're cool, Astro. You're cool. It just took us by surprise.
Who Jermaine Easter was.
You know what I mean?
You know, like, the fact that I know who he is because he and a couple of other Palace players were really active on social media. Like when I got on Twitter back in like 2011, 2012, and because I saw that and they seemed like, you know, decent people, right? I enjoyed what they were doing. I always kind of had a soft spot for Palace. You know what I mean? Just because I was learning about the game at the time, because I was really learning about the Premier League. So yeah, and they were in the championship and they fought and they got back up, and you guys fought and got back up and everything. And I think with the direction that your club has taken, you know, with the investment in the academy and with Vieira, I think you guys are taking monstrous steps in the right direction. So, you know, a lot of respect for that.
No, big up. Let's talk about your gaffer now. We're gonna hold the fort first and try to be
respectful.
Thank you, JC. Not only about your manager Lampard, but
okay.
Also,
for the record, I never agreed to being respectful. Just so you know,
Fair
they
enough.
may have agreed to it, but I didn't agree to that ish.
Fair enough.
We'll talk about. I mean, we know how much we dislike him. But we'll talk about the job he's done for Everton, because obviously at the start I said that Benitez would have kept you up personally. But however, Lampard, I believe, has done that job now as well. So for me personally, as much as I dislike the man, apart from his rant after losing to us 4-0 in the FA Cup.
Lucky goal.
Fluke goal. Another lucky goal. Big man, you got put in a spliff. Just hold it like a man. Take it like a man on the chin and leave it.
You know what? He was so bitter about the fact that a club as small, his own words, we're not a big club, as Palace beat him 4-0. He was right in saying, though, however, that there were players not playing for him at that time. And what he has done well is identified who wants to play for him and stuck with those players. So for that, I'm going to give him credit, because had he not, I think relegation would have been sealed a long time ago.
For real.
So I'm going to give him credit on that aspect as much as I can like him.
Well, listen,
JC?
I don't.
We're gonna come to you, Astro. We're gonna come to you, JC.
I think for the pure fact that man said Palace ain't a big enough job for him, karma needs to come more than once. I'll just say that. I think that slapping them up at Sellers twice this season already, it's not enough. We need to do a triple over these guys. He has to stick it to him because he's a waste man. On the other hand, when you're looking at how they're playing, I don't think they're playing for Lampard because I think Lampard's a terrible manager, genuinely. I think that they're only playing because they know that at Everton they're getting good money. They probably got friends there. They're probably playing because they don't want to go into the Championship because they know if they go Championship, they're going to be going to different teams and they're going to have to move house, do this, do that. They don't want to do that. So I'm guessing the players are playing selfishly for themselves. I don't think they're playing for him because I don't know about you and we don't know what happens behind the scenes, but I wouldn't want to follow this guy around. I wouldn't want him leading me. I think he's clueless.
I think next season you're going to see
he only did
he is.
Yeah. So he had unlimited budget at Chelsea and only bought strikers. Yeah, that's a red flag. When man was at Derby, he only did well because his name is Frank Lampard and he could loan the whole of the Chelsea youth system. What's he done apart from that? That's my opinion. Nate?
You know what it is? After Benitez got sacked, I think Lampard was the logical choice. I'm not even going to lie. But you're looking at it, and obviously he's talking about Palace are too small a job for me, this, that. He gets packed in the FA Cup, kicked out of Selhurst Park with his arse firmly in the air. I won't lie. It was good smoking that Frank Lampard pack. But beating Chelsea at home and beating Man United, they're massive results for Everton. Now, obviously, beating Man United these days, well, I mean, to be fair, most people do it these days, so it's not really that big a result anymore. I'm aware we have to play them on the final day, but we've won at Old Trafford twice in the last 4 seasons. So, beating United, first time you do it, it's cool. After that, it's like, oh, we beat them again, did we? Yeah. But with Lampard, I think if he had a full season, he may have been able to do something. But as JC said, he went to Chelsea, flopped. Was at Derby, and without Fikayo Tomori and Mason Mount, yeah, let's just say he probably would have been staring down relegation with Derby because his football was just like Patrick Van Aanholt. Football terrorism. I'm not even joking. Just dreadful. Awful to watch. However, I don't like Lampard, but with Everton, you shouldn't be in the mess you are in. Let's just get that out of the way without even trying to diss the manager. Everton should not be in a relegation battle. Ironically, we're normally that team that is in that relegation battle. Huh?
They're trying to sell Dele Alli.
I mean, like Donny van der Beek didn't want to be in a relegation battle. How'd that work out? It's peak for man. But what I will say, right, is, granted, Lampard not very popular at Selhurst Park. So he's on the list with Mark Clattenburg, Ron Nodes, Terry Venables. There's a list that this guy has now joined, right? But I'll give him credit. He's not as bad as some managers we've seen over the years, like Alan Pardew. Because, I'm still not happy about that guy. But I don't like it. I don't like your manager, but I respect Everton. So I hope you lot stay up. But his next job, I want him to see a big red R next to his team's name. That's what he deserves. But, Lampard, dead manager, great player. Nah, no way.
And that was our
who's up first?
I got this. Let me go. I'm on the chain. All y'all got to do is turn me loose.
Because when you're finished, bro, tag me in, man.
I'm gonna take my cat heard the wham that was getting chatted up here and came up here to be like, what? Like even the cat's confused by all the hate. I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all doing yourselves a disservice because you sounded like a jilted date from the prom. You know what I'm saying? You sound like a girl that's mad because somebody else done picked them to go to the dance. Look, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Okay, Frank Lampard, all right, you said he was a failure at Chelsea. Did he finish top 4 before? What? Did he finish top 4 with Chelsea? I'm not going to wait for an answer. I'll answer myself. Yes, he did. And at Derby, did he almost?
Where did he finish after spending 200 mil?
We'll get to them facts later. All right?
What trophies did he win? Less, sir. That man spent 200 million and got nothing.
Well, man waited his turn to talk. So can you give me a second? Hang on now.
Yeah, lad, shut up and let him talk, will you?
Derby.
Derby.
Derby. Okay. He almost won promotion with them. Yes or no? Okay. He almost did, right? So
almost.
So almost. And I know that almost and close don't count in nothing but horseshoes, hand grenades, and slow dancing. Okay. But listen, I'm here to tell you something. Don't hate him because he didn't come to Selhurst Park, okay? Like if he said that Palace, like I want my manager to nail my colors to the mast and go to bat for it, right? I did not, and I'm gonna be something. I'm ignorant, okay? And let's get that out of the way. I never knew that he said that about Palace, and if it was me, I wouldn't have said that. But he did say that, okay? Man, all right. I see you, and you know what? That's fair play. That's fair play. But at the end of the day, okay, you don't like him, okay, you don't want him to succeed, all right, and I get that. But he is my manager, and no matter how much I disliked the man when he played for Chelsea and when he played for Man City, he's now the Everton manager, okay. And a couple of supporters that I've spoken to have had the chance to speak to him in person. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, listen, I tell you what, you go with what you got. Lampard's who we've got. And I've heard good things about him. I know that tactically he has, made some questionable decisions this season, but I want to give the man time to make mistakes. Let's just rewind a minute. Benitez was never the answer. Okay, that's literally like putting a rooster in too many roosters in the hen house. Okay, Matt, go, because I'm gonna tell you what. Listen, like Benitez never was the man. We've got Lampard now. He's the one. Matt, go.
Okay, right. So let's all just talk about this for a second, sensibly. Okay. So Lampard went to the Derby, and he's all well and good turning around and saying he never got promotion with Derby. Okay, that's fine, well and good. When he first went into Derby, bear in mind it was his first managerial job. He sat down with the owner, who was the reason why Derby ended up going into administration, and he was given the squad list on the wall. And Lampard said, "Oh, Vidra, oh yeah, he's a decent enough player. Yeah, he won't be here next year." So he was literally given absolute scraps with Derby when he went into the job. And yes, he nearly did get them promoted. And look where they are now, ever since he left. Then he went into Chelsea, okay, with a transfer embargo. Obviously, it was probably too big of a step up, but he still got Champions League football. Then he ended up getting sacked after spending 200 million, but he also got them through the group stages unbeaten, which they eventually went on to win the Champions League under Thomas Tuchel. Please bear in mind as well that at the moment, Thomas Tuchel isn't pulling up any trees with Chelsea either, with the same squad of players that Lampard had as well. Then you bring Lampard, and obviously, I'm holding my hands up. What he said about Palace was disrespectful, and that's fair enough, right? Any manager that came into Everton Football Club after Rafa Benitez and the shit show that it's been for the last 10 years since Farhad Moshiri came in with money was going to struggle. But the one thing that Frank Lampard has done in the last 3 to 4 to 5 months is actually reunite the fan base with the club. Yeah. Because what happened since the last probably 3 years with Rafa Benitez coming in and stuff like that, there was a massive disconnect from the boardroom to the players to the fans, and there was no connection there. But what Lampard has done, Lampard came in with his first few games, right, and he realised he wanted to try and put a football and philosophy on these Everton players. He soon realised very quickly that these Everton players couldn't play that type of football, so he went back to basics with them, and it's starting to work now. We all know here, and I said it to Ash as well when he was on my podcast. I've said it to you guys before as well. Lampard, we all probably believe that Lampard isn't the man to bring Everton Football Club forward. He might be, we don't know. He was the pick of the bad bunch at the time when Everton were looking for a new manager, okay? He is our manager, we have to back him, right? And I do believe that you can't judge a manager who was put into a relegation scrap. And if he does get us out of it, fair enough. He'll be judged next season on what he does. And I do believe there's a reason why we haven't seen players like Andre Gomez kick a ball for Everton in a long time, is because he's turned around to him and said, you're not willing to die for this club, so you can sit on the bench for all we like. And that's what you want as an Everton manager. You want an Everton manager to come in and go, you, piss off and find a new club. I'm going to bring my players in. And to be honest, if Everton are going to be penny pinching next season, and we're going to have to scout the loan market and stuff like that, he does have a lot of connections, and he's had experience working with Derby, trying to get players in as well. That's my little take on Lampard. So I'm going to take a breath now. Thank you.
My addition here, just to add on to what Matt has said. It seems strange that people hate him so much as a manager when he's only been managing for a fairly short amount of time. Like, he doesn't even have enough of a resume to build enough hatred for him as a manager, in my opinion. But look, obviously a legendary player, but the situation that he has walked into, and you can speak to Everton fans, that have been following the club forever. Everybody knows and is aware of the problems that preceded Frank Lampard. He walked into a mess. Just even the little details, like Matt mentioned about just reuniting the fan base with the club, him walking up to the away supporters and clapping along with them, subtle little things that Rafa Benitez would never do and could never do. And look, the decisions to get rid of James Rodriguez, whether it's accurate or not, that he wasn't passionate about the club and wasn't willing to work hard, that getting rid of Lucas Digne, and then sacking the manager 2 weeks after getting rid of arguably the best player on the team. So there were just so many issues that have nothing to do with Frank Lampard. And the credit I give to Frank, at the very least, is kind of what I think Astro said earlier, that he was willing to try different things. We were playing, I think his first or second game, we were playing at 3 at the back. And I'm like, this is going to be a nightmare. We can't possess the ball. And we did not. And then after that, he stopped doing that. So at the very least, he said, let me give these players an opportunity to prove to me who they are, what they're capable of. And he didn't allow, in my opinion, he didn't really let his ego get in the way of what the job was. And there have been some bad results. There have been plenty of bad results, but they're no worse than any other manager we had prior. So I'm pulling for him. I think he's a capable manager, and at the very least, he just makes me feel better about being an Everton fan than the previous manager. Okay, so I'll take that.
Fair enough. I must admit though, since that 4-0 defeat to us, you have looked better.
Yeah.
You have looked. I give you that, and especially you've made Goodison a fortress again, which was the most important thing. You know, those wins against Chelsea and United at home were huge. Leicester, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
That was a draw,
So those are important points, obviously, because your running was disgusting. I looked at it, I was like, yeah, they're gone. They're gone. But yeah, like I said, I think you'll be fine now.
And especially
Lampard's still a prick.
After that loss to Burnley, that was the one that felt like a nail in the coffin, and to come back from that, look, yes, some of the poor decisions from these referees and even comments from Frank Lampard, but the fact that he's angry and upset at some of the ridiculous things that have happened, whether it's injuries, whether it's poor decisions, I get the sense that just like when I went to Goodison and was embraced by the fans, it really does feel like he's been won over by Evertonians, because he genuinely seems to care about the state of the club and the future of the club as well.
Spot on. Right, before we discuss the actual match and our match predictions, this should be interesting. Combined 11.
Oh boy.
Pickford.
Well, we always give the goalkeeper anyway. Now, what we normally do, we let the guests pick their 11, and then between myself, JC, and Nate, we then decide if there's any changes that need to be made to that 11. big, massive shout out to Kirst. And listen, top 4 for Tottenham. Looks like that's secured. You know, obviously, you've just need a point against Norwich. And if you don't get that, then boy, that bottle job status needs to stick with you forever.
Well, it'd be the most Tottenham thing ever to get proper Spursy.
Absolutely. Rush saying Mitchell's competition. Yeah, your left back's actually really decent. He's not. Mitchell still gets in, but is it Mikalenko?
Mikalenko, yeah.
Mikalenko, yeah, he's wicked.
I think because Matt's already been on here, I think we should let Christian and Astra go one by one.
Let the guys go one by one, and then I'll just agree or disagree at the end.
All right. So what it is
big up realist.
Realists never change, mate.
Yeah, so you need to have at least 3 Everton players in here, or the other way around, or at least 3 Palace players in there.
Word of warning: if you lot pick Solomon Rondon, it's voided. Just let me know right now. If Solomon Rondon gets in this combined 11, it's immediately voided.
Yeah, we'll change it to the full Palace 11 after that.
Yeah, exactamundo.
He got the red card anyway, so he's not even available.
Christian, right back.
Right back. I mean, it's not going to be Seamus Coleman over. So who's the right back? Nathaniel Klein, who you played for Liverpool, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, us, Southampton, Liverpool, and again back to us.
Yeah. So yeah, I would have to go with Klein over Coleman.
Yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I was not expecting that.
Neither was I, to be fair.
I'm taking it.
I was going to be quiet till the end of this. I'm sorry, lads. No. Coleman goes in there ahead of them. That is the weakest part of both of our teams, and Seamus Coleman is far better than Klein and Ward. Sorry, lads. Go ahead.
I mean, it's been a rough season for Coleman.
I'm just trying to get him any break he can, even theoretical or hypothetical.
Rest. That's all.
I'm sorry. I'm resting him. I'm going to metaphysically rest him in this competition so that he'll have the legs for tomorrow night.
Okay. Who's up next?
Let's see.
Centre backs.
One of the centre backs, that's true.
You know what, right? Like, are we talking about who's fit? I mean,
no, just in general. So it doesn't have to be a player fit. It can be who you think should go in there in general.
I would say Yerry Mina, just because he's our best defender by far, and there's no way around that. I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be like. Let's see. I don't know. That's a tough one. That is a tough one.
Has to be great. He has to go in.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, it's got to be him.
Christian,
I was actually going to butcher the pronunciation of his name.
A lot of people do. Trust me.
Yeah, but he's quality. He is a quality player. Yeah, definitely him. And what did we say?
Left back.
I feel good about Mikalenko.
Yep. I would go with Mikalenko as well.
Yeah.
Can I just harp in on that? Mikalenko has been very good for the last 2 months, but Mitchell has had an outstanding season for Crystal Palace, so I'd probably put Mitchell in ahead of Mikalenko. But Mikalenko is definitely going to be unreal for us next year.
He's been brilliant, to be fair.
Yeah, Mikalenko's been a fantastic signing.
I mean, for me, when you think about everything that he's dealt with, he transferred in January. Obviously he's dealt with, God knows what's going on in his homeland right now. So he gets a lot of credit, in my opinion. And yeah, maybe it's an honorable mention.
Sorry. Realist, Jesus, that's harsh.
Yeah. But he is though.
If Mina had functional hamstrings, you would not be saying that.
Listen, if his knees weren't made out of Rice Krispies, this would be a moot point.
Okay.
In fairness, guys, to the readers, he has to watch Harry Maguire every week. So,
you're right. Not much to talk.
Right.
Okay. Whoever just said Palace can do the full midfield is right. Go ahead and just take them.
Oh, sweet.
We did forget to ask what formation we're playing.
That
Are you happy with 4-3-3?
4-3-3
This is fine. Yeah,
superb. Yeah, 4-3-3
Right,
is superb.
so who's in the midfield and why is it the Palace players?
yeah. Conor Gallagher has to go in there.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
one
he
guy
has to be
every
in there.
Everton fan is terrified of after the last time he played against them in the league.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish he was an Everton loanee, so we wouldn't have to play him. That's really.
Yep.
Yeah, he has to go there.
Oh my gosh, this is good. But you said he's Maguire and Mings in one.
Man.
Maguire and Mings in one. Oh Christ!
Realist has it out for Everton ever since he met me. He never had this agenda against Everton or Lampard since he met me.
This is
Okay.
a good point from Rush.
Who else is in the midfield? Kouyaté has to be.
Yep.
And yeah, he's there. Is there anybody?
We've got to put Ebbs in there, surely.
Eze.
I feel a part of me wants to say Iwobi because he's turned things around in some miraculous way, but I don't know if it's enough to make him a part of this combined 11. Like, he's been incredible.
Christian, you are like a legendary guest. Don't get sin binned on your first appearance.
I'm just look. It's mildly delusional because I can't believe I'm even saying these words. Because at the beginning of the season, Iwobi it didn't make any sense why he was even at the club. But something happened. This man is like one of our best defenders. He's tracking back like a maniac. He's been arguably our best player in some of these matches. It makes no sense. I agree with you.
I would just like to quote a special Everton fan that I know. Iwobi does not get in here. Iwobi is not here.
Can I just make a point? That is how bad of a season that we have had. That Christian is trying to give Iwobi an honourable mention in this team.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know what it is?
I have to be quiet because I originally said during the early part of the season that Alex Iwobi is where the attack goes to die. Okay. And I actually said that in a match reaction. And I got called out on that recently when I've been praising his performance. And I just said, I have to acknowledge that, yes, I did say that. Okay.
Realist is going wild.
Wow. Did somebody give him too much caffeine and sugar or something?
Can I just say as well, right? This is what happens with Everton players, okay? So Everton players like Iwobi and stuff like that, they might have like say 2 or 3 games in a row where they're actually half decent. We paid 40 million for it. You're supposed to be half decent for at least half of the season. And like what happens is, I guarantee you now, if Andre Gomez plays tomorrow and he gets a man of the match performance, we'll probably give him a new 5-year deal. That's how stupid we are.
Can I just address this comment? Shout out to Brush, who reckons I could play up top as well.
No, do you know what it is? 35 of that 40 million was because he's JJ Okocha's nephew. That's how you paid that much. That Okocha tax.
Hey, just family business.
But Iwobi has been good the last 3 games. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Brush said realism from Trinity, the sun hits differently over there. Oh, man.
He's not going away, because look at this. This man was on Ollie, now he's on Lampard. Bro, realist don't ramp, Big him up every time, though. Big yourself up, realist.
You got to watch his Twitch streams, man. They're funny.
I was about to say, doesn't realist have his own problems at the moment to be worried about? United couldn't beat their own ass right now, much less anybody else.
Rich, your next stream has to be a one-on-one head-to-head with Astro and Realist.
No.
Has to
be. No, Matt. What it needs to be is Realist versus Manchester Mania. That is comedy gold.
It's gonna see who's gonna out-depress each other with their clubs.
Listen.
Oh no, Astro, you want to see this Manchester Mania guy? This guy tried to tell everybody that Michael Carrick was a better player than Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira.
Just stop.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I even know how daft that is. If you'd have told that to a donkey, it'd have kicked you in the head. Fact.
Michael Carrick over Roy Keane. I'm sorry, I'm not having that, let alone Patrick Vieira.
No.
Wait, is that the same guy that said Iniesta and Xavi were overrated?
Could have been.
No, that was someone else. Basically, at this current moment in time, the Everton fans are picking this 11. We're gonna dissect it afterwards. Don't worry.
Right, getting back on topic because we're digressing again.
It's Iwobi's fault.
Yeah. Astro, what's the left wing?
Left wing, it's got to be Richie. I mean, sorry, it's got to be Richarlison. I mean, he loves coming in off the left. I just got to go with Richie on the left. Sorry, he's my boy. Y'all can tear it up later, but Richie.
Yeah,
Christian
Christian
right
centre
wing.
forward. Oh, sorry, JC.
Right wing. I mean, he doesn't play there, but I feel like it'd be impossible to keep Zaha off this team. So I would.
And that's why I was going to say throw him on the right.
Yeah, you got to put him there.
Even though that's not where he's supposed to be.
Can I just throw something in here? I want to put Zaha on the left, Richie in the middle, and someone on the right. I can't think of who on the right though. But I think it's a toss-up between Zaha and probably Gordon. But I'm sure I'll get outvoted and Zaha will be on the left. But Richie, I think up top would be a better shout.
Yeah,
I'd
agree with that.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. That logic is sound.
Yeah, Gordon ain't making it.
Like, we just put Richarlison there 3 times. I'm good with that too.
Who's going right wing in your eyes?
Yeah, because we all know who's going right wing anyway.
Yeah, we know who we're picking on right wing.
Iwobi.
Yes, finally some sense.
Okay, I'm calling Sinbin right there.
If anyone mentions Iwabinho again, they're getting Simbin.
I understand.
This is a tough one.
It really isn't.
Because I would say Anthony Gordon. I'm gonna say it over Jordan.
Nah, it's Mateta or Elise, one or the other.
Mateta or white ring. Jesus Christ.
Matt, what are you smoking?
You can tell you're an Everton fan. Fucking hell.
You know what? I clearly don't watch enough of Crystal Palace. All right, that's all that means.
No. Mateta on the right wing. That's just like playing Tim Howard up front. You can try it, but I don't know how well it'll go for you. Mateta on the right wing. Christ above. That sounds like a Roy Hodgson team, actually.
Honestly, you know what, Matt? Take the sin bin. You should know better.
All right. Well, we'll go off what these man said.
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, and so this is what the Everton fans are happy with. Yes? No?
Well, somebody's championing Coleman over Klein, which, I mean, if you're going over previous seasons, I'd agree. But this season, I don't know if Coleman would get in. But I see why they're trying to say it, because Coleman for Everton has been a fantastic player. For only 60 grand, they're laughing for such a good player. So that was a hell of a steal.
Okay, so this is where Everton fans.
Hold on, why is McCarthy in midfield?
I didn't do it.
Oh, that was supposed to be Kouyaté.
If we're talking about our best 11, you said it's a Palace midfield, so I want off my opinion. And this is probably one of our best midfield.
Josie snuck that in like really quietly.
Isn't it? Under the radar.
If you guys want Kouyaté, you get Kouyaté. Okay.
You know, comments are moving mad about this combined 11. I'm just going to say that right now.
All right, so
Good.
Everton fans, are we happy?
I mean, that's a big question. You need to be more
That's a
specific.
loaded question.
Okay, yes or no is the answer here.
No, we're not happy. I'd rather have Tony Hibbert at right back than Klein or bleeding Coleman.
That's another sin bin. Get him out of here. Sin bin. Bye. Tony Hibbert. Man.
All right, let's dissect this. Let's make this correct. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So we've got 2 Everton. We got
Three.
three.
Three Everton players.
Yeah, that's about right.
That is the team, and no one can make any arguments otherwise.
On this season alone, yeah, I would agree. In terms of overall quality, I think they do get a few more players in here, to be fair to Everton. I'm not going to lie. But this season alone, that is the team.
And as we say, honourable mention to Mikalenko, because I think he's been brilliant.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Big him up every time.
But don't.
This is the 3rd time I've done one of these combined 11s, and there's no point in doing them. There's no point in doing them because anytime we pick a team like this, you just go, no, Klein's in there over Coleman. What's the point? Like,
Look, to be fair, I was surprised you picked. I would have gone Coleman personally.
Oh yeah.
Just me. I don't know if.
I have no issue with them picking Coleman because I think Coleman's a better player than Klein. I'm not going to lie, but this season alone, Klein's been better than Coleman.
Look, there've been enough times where Coleman either can't keep up with some of the players, or even speaking of Yeremina, the injury to Yeremina. I believe it was caused by Seamus Coleman. They both kind of went for the ball, and Coleman really didn't need to. When you have a 6'4" giant who can probably win a header, he probably does not need cover, and so I think those errors, even though Coleman has stepped up in certain games, but especially away, it's been a nightmare. So if I had to pick between the two, I'm probably not picking Coleman.
Yeah.
I probably would say if you go off of just quality of like the player in general, you'd probably say that I think Alan probably gets in here ahead of Kouyaté. But if you talk about their whole career in general, like his time at Napoli, he was a monster. But I don't know what he's doing now.
You know what? That could work though, because obviously we've got to have at least 3 Everton players. So.
Well, we've got 3 Everton players. We've got Richarlison, Mina, and Pickford.
But if we were to put Alan in for Kouyaté and put Anderson at centre back,
I rate Mina though. When he's fit, he's good.
that's a good point.
Agreed.
I mean, those 5 times a season when he's fit, yes, he is awesome.
Hey, but one second.
he plays more for Colombia.
Has done a violation. Where did I see that comment? 1 second.
I got it.
The Seki fries, oh gosh. What did you just where is it and then disappeared?
Man was gone. He didn't want to be involved anymore.
He took himself out.
He sinned himself.
I told you my phone's acting the dickhead. I kicked myself out the stream. This phone, mate, honestly. Zeki Fryer's in. You see this shit? This is what happens when we've got nothing to play for. No, Zeki Fryer's, man. Christ above.
Oh, that really says a proper Everton agenda, Proper. Let's finish up. Let's talk about the game tomorrow. And then end with our score predictions as well. Matt, how do you think the game's going to go? And what do you think is like the key areas for you?
Do you know what? I was talking. I sent a few texts in the chat and stuff like that. I'm more confident that Burnley and Leeds don't pick up any more points than I'm confident that Everton will pick up points. I don't see Leeds winning the last day, but I want us to basically not have ourselves in the equation. Finally, just treat tomorrow like a cup final. I don't know how up for Palace are going to be. They probably will after the Lampard comments, I suppose. I think under the lights at Goodison Thursday night, packed house. I think the Goodison crowd are gonna be our 12th man. Bear in mind that like against Brentford, if it wasn't for that red card after 18 minutes, we probably would have won that game fairly comfortably, and we would have been safe already. So Lampard's comments today in the press conference, Donny van de Beek is back, which I don't think he should even play because he's not going to be match fit. And in a game like this, I don't think we should be playing him, to be honest with you. Godfrey is back fit, which is a plus for us as well. But again, is he going to be match fit? I think if we kind of go with the same kind of starting 11 that we had against Brentford, obviously bar the lads who got sent off, bring Godfrey in instead of Brantway, I think we have a good chance. I think we're favourites in the bookies to win as well. I just want it to be done tomorrow. To be honest with you, I just can't. I don't want to be going into the final day against Arsenal needing the point or needing to win, because obviously Burnley tomorrow as well are playing. I'm hoping that Burnley don't pick up any points tomorrow as well, so we know it's in our hands as well. But in terms of the match itself, I think you guys be able to tell us more about what's kind of in Palace's minds. Like, are they going to be kind of going for this game tomorrow? Like, I think Everton are obviously going to be 100% up for, because it's literally like a cup final to them. But I think it's going to be all down and depending on what Palace turn up, to be honest with you.
I guess for us, we don't even know what formation we're going to be playing, because I think Vieira's in that kind of like experimental mode at the moment. We tried a 3-4-1-2, was it?
Yeah.
No, it was like a 3-3-2-2. It was weird.
Yeah. And such. Tried that against Villa. It worked in patches. Other patches it left us kind of exposed and stuff. We're still waiting on seeing some of our youth. Whether that happens or not, we don't know. So, I mean, the chips are it's all there written for Everton to come out and play, because we might be on the beach, you know. So,
but I would say it the other way around, because let's say if all these other teams ahead of us in the table all lose their next two games and we win our next two games, we jump to 8th position, and that's an extra 12.5 million pounds in prize money. That buys us a check to Corey, or let's say. Yeah. So
and we've still got a positive goal difference. Let's get that in there, because that's mad.
And Wolves, who are 8th, they have a -3, so we would jump above them. So we would gain so much more money, and we'd be able to have a better transfer window, for example. So I don't think that we'll be on the beach completely, but we are in that experimental phase where we will try stuff for next season. But if it starts to go wrong, we will switch the formation and try and get a win out of this. I think the most important thing is weathering the storm, because the first 20 minutes against Brentford, you guys were all over him. Richarlison should have had a hat-trick in the first 10, 15 minutes. But I think if we weather the storm, there's no reason why we couldn't pick Everton apart again.
Yeah, I think just the sense of urgency is gonna, I think, clearly be there. And you mentioned those first few minutes against Brentford. It really felt like Everton looked like a confident team, which we haven't been used to seeing the last few months. But it's tough to play at Goodison. The last few weeks, it's been really, really challenging for teams to get go in there and pick up points. I think there's a win here. I think there's a win for Everton here. Barring any ridiculous refereeing decisions or any just frustrating things like that. But I think 11v11. I think the heart and will be there with Everton. So I expect a win here. I expect this to be over and safety for the Toffees.
Astra?
I've always worried there were too many matches in too short a period of time. This last bit of the season, on this last run in, it's just the last 2 weeks have just been dense with football, and I was worried that maybe we had peaked too soon, right? But those kind of worries have to go out the window. Okay, when you're talking about playing for and fighting for Premier League survival, I would love to say that we're going to just show up and absolutely give Palace everything they, all they can take. I think we're going to have to stay really compact. We have to respect the pace that Palace has and their ability to create space and manipulate it. We've got to respect that because that's what got us done at Selhurst Park in the cup. Okay, we underestimated your skill set, and we paid for it dearly. Don't make the same mistake twice. Failure is the greatest teacher there ever was if you learn from it. And God knows there's been no shortage of that this season for Everton. So if we can learn from our mistakes in regard to our last performance against Crystal Palace, and then you add that under the lights atmosphere of Goodison and a couple of successful counterattacks, I see it being absolutely tighter than a duck's butt, but it's going to be like 1-0, 2-1, something like that. It's sorry. That's what it's
That was nuts.
Okay. I'm from New York. People in the South are a little bit different. Just so you know, we're both Americans.
Yes.
It's a little bit different culturally.
Yes. We say ridiculous things like that. Yeah.
I don't even want to know how you know we're ducks anyway.
I don't know firsthand. I hate to disappoint you. That's just an old saying.
Must be an old American saying because it's not said in England. I can tell you that for nothing.
No.
Right, so Matt, what's your score prediction before we get to how we feel about the game?
I think that obviously the first goal is going to be very vital in this game. I think I don't want Everton to score too early either because that can kind of, I don't know. I think if Everton can kind of go into halftime 1-0 up and kind of start to control the game, I think it'll be we should win the game comfortably tomorrow if we turn up and play the way we can play. If the occasion gets to the players and they can't stand the pressure, then I could see it going another way. Again, I say we don't know what starting 11 Palace are going to do. They're in experimental mode, but then Jordan turns around and says like they could still get 8th place mathematically. So it's going to be interesting. But I'm hoping that we have a 2-0 win to Everton with a clean sheet.
Christian,
I'll go with 2-1, and I think it's going to be on Jordan Pickford to just do what he's been doing the last couple of weeks. He's going to need some miraculous saves, and given we won't have Yeremina. If it's Godfrey there, he hasn't played for several weeks, and there's going to be a little bit of confusion. So there's going to be more responsibility to be put on Jordan Pickford. So I say 2-1 Everton.
Astro.
Actually, I'm going 1-0 Everton. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be tough. And Pickford is going to have to play out of his mind. That's all I got.
Just before we get to our score predictions, UK said, Pat says, Wolf, please, if you score, do the sue.
Yeah, what Hamza's one?
Oh God! Don't mention that for the love of God.
that was more of a C, not a Sue.
No, it could be like Saeed. Sui.
To be fair, Astro Dan said he loves the phrases.
People are ridiculous here, right? Like somebody asked me if I was nervous about the match earlier. And I said I was more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Why say I'm really nervous, or say it like that? You know what I mean? So we dress it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Hey, be expressive. It's all about being expressive.
Right. Astro's a poet. Let's give him credit.
Yeah,
we actually have
poets.
Old Yandalf the Blue. We've actually got an Everton poet. This guy's putting out some serious prose that ought to be like in a leather-bound book in a library that smells of rich mahogany and cognac. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of poet we got. I am no poet. I'm just an idiot that loves talking about the blues. But thank you.
Astro, man, I swear to God, when I first met you, man, and I was first talking to you online and stuff like that, I put one of your match reactions or your match preview shout outs, like you're getting the boys going. And I put it into the WhatsApp group. There's about 50 or 60 people in the WhatsApp group, and I just said, "You're in it," like. And I just said, "Guys, Just imagine Astro is talking about your team, and you will be pumped for any game that you are watching. And ever since then, man, I think you've just taken off, man. I swear to God, you're absolutely brilliant. I have to say,
you are hilarious, Astro.
I appreciate you. I appreciate all the kind words, gentlemen. I'm not sure that I'm worthy, but I do appreciate it.
It's great. And I give credit because I'm a stand-up comedian, and there's something when Everton results happen, I can't find humor in it. And Astro can find a way to make me laugh. I'm like, I can joke about almost anything, but when it comes to Everton, I'm like, it's too emotionally damaging to find a joke here. But Astro has a way to find some glimmer of light and hope with any of these results. I always applaud that.
Well, thank you,
Mr. Astro. Keep up with your poetry. Just refrain from duck and
we'll leave waterfowl out of it. You know what I
mean? Big up to Daddy and the Dog Man in the chat, or it could be Paul as well. To be fair, so big up to them over there. And absolutely emotional damage and such. Right. For me personally, we've had a decent job defending lately. We've done a decent job defending. I can see us coming out of it with a 2-0 win. If we find our shooting boots, though. If we don't, then we'll draw. Because we just can't finish our dinner at the moment. I don't know where it is, but we just can't finish our dinner. So
the whole season, Rich. It's the whole season. It's not even just lately. Look at the games we've had earlier on in the season. Arsenal away, and then it's like, so close. So close.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right.
I'll go 2-0. 2-0 Palace. JC?
Okay. I think, because I'm not going to this one, and we know how my record is going, but I can't predict us to lose.
You can, man. Go on, you can.
No.
We have faith in you.
I'm just not 100% sure if we try something experimental like what we did against Villa. Villa didn't play well, and they still had many clear-cut chances with that new formation we tried. And Everton are going to throw everything at us. So if we try something, we could be blown away 3-0 before 20 minutes. But on the other hand, if we do weather the storm, we could definitely win this game.
Just say 6-all and move on to Nate. Come on, man.
I reckon I reckon it'll be 3-3. I think it'll be a madness.
Whoa.
Wow. Now that is a bold statement.
I'm flattered you think Everton can score 3.
I was about to say, there's going to be some own goals or something going on.
If Palace win, Matt does the robot.
Nate, how about you?
See, this is the thing with us, is when the pressure's off, we don't tend to do that well. We knew we're safe. We've already sent Watford back down to the Championship, which was extra sweet because we know we don't like them, man. However, because Vieira is the type of manager that wants his players to be on game every single game, the issue I have is that, yes, Everton are fighting for their lives and going to Goodison Park when it's going to be an absolute bear pit. Worst time to go to Goodison, when they've got their backs to the wall, they've got every man backing them to the hill. But at the same time, if they don't start well, that pressure is going to mount and mount and mount and mount, especially from the Gladys Street. The most vocal sections of every home stadium get on your back when you're not playing well. Think about it. When we're not doing well, the Holmesdale and the Arthur, they're on your back constantly. The Gladys Street is no different at Goodison Park. So, we can ride out the storm and everything. If we start properly and don't give Charity Professional Football Club a return to life, because you know what we're famous for. What's that? You haven't won in 600 bastard years? Come play Charity Professional Football Club. We'll give you 3 points free of charge. What's that? You haven't scored in 600 years? Come play Charity Professional Football Club. We'll sort you out with a goal. What's that? You haven't won a home game in 600 years? Come play Charity Professional Football Club. We're giving 3 wins away this season. That's what we normally do. So my fear is if we don't turn up and go on job, they're going to slap us. Bear in mind, the last time we played them in the league, forget the cup because the cup is only a cup game. In the league, it could have gone either way. That Rondon goal could have shifted the game entirely. It just so happened the goal came at the worst time for them because we wanted it more than them on the day. And Gallagher pulled off a madness that, thank fuck, Benteke got nowhere near. Because if he did, he's hitting some old Doris in the upper Holmesdale.
Spot on, mate.
Because Benteke's telling him, leave it. Nah, mate, don't hit some old lady in the upper Holmesdale. Are you mad? Should get a no. No. But look, I'm worried because... Yeah, do you know what I mean? But see, the thing is, the Everton of previous seasons at Goodison Park, I hated going away because we knew we'd lose. They were a quality side, played good football. If we can't beat them now, when we're infinitely better than we've been in years, and they've been at their worst since, I think, one of Moyes' first seasons, that's a worry. But granted, look, we've got nothing to play for. We've got nothing riding on this. So us taking our foot off the gas from our perspective, it'd be annoying, but it'd be understandable. We've got nothing really to play for, per se. We're not going to get into Europe. We're not getting relegated. We don't really have to turn up for this. We could just play the 23s and give them a free points. It's Charity Professional Football Club. That's what we do.
That's the kind of energy we want right there. That's it.
See, the beauty,
the attitude.
Yeah, but see, Christian, the problem you have there is that we're not managed by Roy Hodgson anymore, so it's not Charity Professional Football Club. Because remember... You played us twice this season and got slapped twice.
Yes.
Under previous Palace managers, we'd be giving you 3 points free of charge.
That's right.
Like I just said.
Even Will Smith didn't slap Chris Rock more than once. You know what I mean? There was more respect there.
Oh man.
Yeah, but no, listen. I am. Yeah, no, look.
When that guy slapped up James Chappelle. Who's that, Will Smith?
I am one of those people that believes that when your back's against the wall and you've got literally everything riding on it, you don't want to play that team. We've been that team before, bear in mind, so we know how that feels to be in that maelstrom of you need to win this game or avoid defeat in this game to stay up. I mean, we just talked about it recently when we talked about Hillsborough 2010. We needed a draw. So we know how it feels to go to the last day or the second last day and need to avoid defeat to stay in the league. So for us, it's a weird position because normally that's us that's doing that. Like, this isn't right. We're normally that team that are like, oh shit, we need to go away to Everton and not lose to stay in the Prem. Whereas
sorry,
go ahead, Asher. No, go ahead. You're right.
I just hope that there's not some awful decision. You know what I mean? That ruins the match. Because I feel like everything that happened after the 18th minute in that match on Sunday was just, it didn't have to be that way, right? And I feel like the competition was spoiled, right? Whether we would have won or not, I don't know. But what I don't want to, you know what I want to see? I want to see a proper good game of football tomorrow night. And I don't want the referees to influence it unfairly one way or another. I've got to, I don't know. There's been too many bad decisions this year, and not just against Everton. There have been just some absolute calls across the board this year in the league, and I just don't want to see. I don't want to see the competition spoiled by it again. So
can I just make a point there, just to add to it before we finish this off? I think I'll speak on behalf of Astro and Christian that I just hope that Everton turn up and play football tomorrow, because there will be nothing worse as an Everton fan if Crystal Palace show up half-arsed, like you say, and they beat us 2 or 3-0 in the most important game of football that Everton have had in probably 15 years. Yeah. We need to win this game tomorrow, and if they don't even bother their arse to turn up and try and win this game for the football club, for the fans, that will be more disappointing than Crystal Palace beating us in say for example Everton turn up and play their best football, Crystal Palace play their strongest team, and it's a proper game of football, and Palace come out 2-1 winners. At least we could say we went out on our shield, and we'll go to the last day and try and survive then. But if we don't turn up on the last day, last home game of the season, when it's in our hands, that would be more disappointing than anything else.
Right. Yeah.
That's one. And I guess for us, as long as when we score, Lampard doesn't decide to say that it's a fluke or anything on those lines, we're good.
I didn't give my prediction, actually. Hold on a second. You know what? Optimistic, I'm going to say 3-1. I think we should pat them. However, realistic, because as I said, they've got their backs to the wall. It could be a squeaky 2-1 either way. But I'm going to back us and say 3-1 Palace. But I'm not ruling out an Everton win. I know for a fact when the chips are down, the last thing you want to do is play a team with their back to the wall. But I've got to back the red and blue because, I mean, I can't have them finishing above us. I can't have that. No, I'm not having it. Not having it. Nah, yeah, 3-1 Palace.
Cool. What a show this was today. I mean, this could have gone on for hours. You know? So big up to you. I'm going to give you the platform to promote where people can find you, if it's YouTube, Twitter, whatever it may be. Matt, you know the drill, so you can start it off.
Yeah, so obviously at Smitty2 there on Twitter, and I'm on the weekly Armchair Sports Talk YouTube channel. We do the Talk of the League podcast. I think nearly everybody, bar Jordan, Christian, and Nate. But Nate, you're not allowed on because you'll just start swearing too much and start saying a load of stuff. But I'm only joking. Anybody can come on. Anybody is welcome to come on. But yeah, so you can find me there. We're going to be doing our last show probably this Monday, obviously, to recap the season that's been, and hopefully Everton are still in there. And hopefully I'm not the host of a podcast supporting a team that's in the Championship next season. So yeah, Rich, guys, thanks very much for coming on. Astro, Christian, been an absolute pleasure sharing this podcast with you. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
You can find me on Twitter at BlueAce1878, as well as on Instagram and YouTube. I would just like to say, thanks so much for having me. I know I've been a no-show before because of scheduling conflicts, and I really do appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to chat football with such a great group of guests as you had today. So thanks very much, and up the Toffees, baby. Woo!
Hey guys, this is me with your manager, Patrick Vieira. Just so you know, okay, he's the homie, but this
you're tall, bruv.
That's boss.
This but on
what stool are you standing on?
I'm pretty tall. You'd be surprised. Anyway, yes, obviously I'm rooting for the Toffees tomorrow. But thank you so much for having me. An absolute honor. Thank you. Great meeting you, Matt and Astro. Finally, yeah, I'm a stand-up comic. I'm in New York, but I do a show about football / soccer. I know you can't say that on the internet these days, but at Soccer Cooligans, the Cooligans is the show. And at Soccer Cooligans on all social platforms on YouTube as well. So give us a follow if you like laughing about your footy, which most people don't, but we're trying to win some people over.
Eagle-eyed Nate, as always, talking ish. Back soon. Eagle-eyed football. Let's get these two wins and get the season over and done with.
Well, if I'm honest, I really need to do what I need to do because Rich is doing it for me in the background. However, if I have to do it, the is there. If you know, you know. Up the Palace. I've just seen this guy in the background going.
You're muted, Rich.
I'm so used to being muted too. I'm just so used to JC doing it. I still always point the wrong way. There we go. Guys, honestly, and obviously, as the UK GOAT says, JC's the GOAT.
Christian, before we go, can you not drop Paddy Vieira a little Instagram message there with the picture? Be like, sort us out, man. No.
Just, you know what? I'll text him. How about that?
No, you see, these men are trying to put off fireworks at the team hotel. It's like.
Whatever it
takes. I don't know anything about that. I heard there's been some impromptu performance art involving fireworks, but that's got nothing to do with everything.
Doesn't really make sense if the kickoff is 8 o'clock at night either. They can just sleep in the afternoon a bit longer. Do you know what I mean?
Let's get out of it, guys. As always, like, share, subscribe. Road to 1K. Obviously,
we're out.
That's it. We're out.
The Palace.
Thanks, guys.
Eagles.